Reprinted in Foundations as a standard staple, this 10-mana monstrosity dominates the combo top end. But what if the big blue bomb had been replaced? Today, I'm ranking the best and worst contenders to the question. If not Omniscience, then what? Now, up front, I must admit that while I have extremely strong opinions, my opinions on Omniscience are arguable. There are many people who defend Omniscience as a fantastic and fun card, and while I, again, disagree with them, I recognize that their points are indeed valid. I also recognize that some cards that I want are absolute memes. Arcane Bombardment is an absolute meme card, no matter how much I love it, and it was never going to be reprinted. Certainly not in Omniscience's slot as a blue mythic rare. Our immediate next step is, of course, the card that I mentioned in the video, which is One with the Multiverse. A card that I think is arguable, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about One with the Multiverse. It's not as good as Omniscience, and the fact that it has existed in the same standard as well as Awakening and did not cause a combo deck to exist means that I think it peaks out really at arguable because it's clearly not good enough. In fact, as a deference to my best friend Sam and resident Omniscience expert, I'm going to put, if One with the Multiverse were reprinted instead of Omniscience, we would be in a worse timeline. Speaking of cards that put us in a worse timeline, I'm also going to go down here and get recent Wilds of Eldraine bonus sheet card Forced Fruition and put it in worse timeline, because this card is just... Now here's the thing. A card can be powerful and also miserable. That's why aggro is healthy for the game, because it ends the game. You can get beaten down by aggro real fast and then finish and re-queue or play a different game. How many times do you have to play League of Legends and lose a game really slowly for 45 minutes before you understand that if a game is going to be over, the game itself should actually end it? Forced Fruition just tells your opponent, sit there and do nothing. It's awful. It doesn't end the game. It goes in worse timeline. Now, a card that I think is absolutely, objectively better timeline is Swarm Intelligence. Because I think ramping up to a card that then makes your deck go explosively, powerfully overboard is just absolutely fun. It makes you then want to do a bunch of stuff really, really fast, and that's good. That's more interactions happening in the game, and more interactions means more chance that the game is going to be over. Similarly, and I will note here that all of these have been large, high mana enchantments to go more or less directly into Omniscience's slot. I think that Mind's Desire should have been reprinted because it's insane. Like, the idea of putting a Storm card into Foundations is ludicrous. And this absolutely would never happen. Like, we should be putting Mind's Desire down in meme here. But I'm going to put it in better timeline because I think that Mind's Desire is like Omniscience in that it only works as a powerful combo payoff if the rest of the deck around it works perfectly to it. And ramping to a Mind's Desire card is fun and challenging, and it's entirely possible that I'm wrong, so I'm going to put it down in arguable. Because otherwise I feel like I'm going to get death threats. But Mind's Desire is not the only large sorcery that I considered for reprinting here. I also went with Time Stretch, which I'm going to put somewhere around better timeline to arguable, because I think just a giant 10 mana card that says take 2 extra turns might as well be unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, we're talking about 10 mana, you win the game here, but also like, you then have to have enough stuff. I could see worlds where you just resolve a Time Stretch and you don't quite get there, but you maybe get yourself back into the game. That seems healthy. And in fact, the more that I think about it, the more that I say it out loud, we should have gotten Time Stretch. Magic would have been saved. I was straight up gonna save the Magic is Saved slot for Eye of the Storm, because this is one of my favorite cards just to plonk onto a commander table. I love playing this card and having everyone suddenly look down at the instants and sorceries in their hands and realizing, oh, these work differently now. And also, If you've never played Eye of the Storm with packed cards, it's hilarious, causing people to go, oh, I can't play instants or sorceries or I lose the game on my next upkeep. I think putting it in standard would be hilarious. And also, it hasn't been reprinted since Ravnica. That's insane. My last two cards are absolutely going to be contentious. If you've ever played against Sway the Stars, you are going to have either very strong for opinions against it or nay opinions against it. But I think that reprinting Sway of the Stars and turning it into sort of a control staple in Foundation would be a really interesting timeline. The fact of the matter is, resetting the entire game is incredibly powerful, and there's many situations where Control would really, really like to do that at the cost of one sorcery cheat. But the fact that it puts them on 7 life means that Control still loses to aggro, which is what you want. You really want getting run over to be a feasible threat, at least in best of 1, which is the only relevant format to most of Magic's players, because sideboards are for cowards. And finally, my absolute number 1 contender for Omniscience the slot that has not only been reprinted recently into Commander decks, but I think just would have been straight up an interesting card to plonk down, cheat out, or just regularly ramp to, is Mind's Dilation. I personally love the gameplay of playing off the top of your opponent's deck and just having to either memorize every possible card in the entire format or just winging it and playing your opponent's deck based entirely off of vibes. Now, thankfully, I am not a voice of any authority, merely a YouTuber.
Like and subscribe, please.
And I'm sure that Wizards tested lots of cards in Omniscience the slot, putting aside the fact that obviously it's a card people really, really wanted, otherwise it wouldn't have so many alternate art treatments. None of the cards that I've listed here come anywhere near Omniscience in terms of pure popularity. And let's be clear, Magic is a commercial game, and I guess Omniscience getting reprinted does deserve to be up here somewhat.